Good afternoon. I'm Gay Baldwin. I'm the University Counselor at Brenau University. And one thing I love to do is I love connecting with our students. And today I'm reaching out to you, and really what I'm talking about today can relate to students, faculty, and staff. Um, there's a lot of information out there about COVID 19. And one of the things that sometimes we don't focus on so much with that is really our mental health. And we all have mental health, We've got to be intentional about our mental health. And so, we've got to stay physically active. We've got to eat wisely, staying in check with our mental health and well being. And of course, something that's at the top of that list is staying safe. So, those are things that we generally should do every day. And now, with this COVID 19, it seems like we've got to be a little bit more intentional about that. And certainly, Dr. Sclater has done a good job of really advising us through the Center for Disease Control to focus on prevention. So she keeps reminding us that we've got to wash our hands frequently with soap, use that sanitizer, um, keep yourself away from those who are sick, cover your mouth, your nose, things like that when you sneeze, and really try to keep away from touching your mouth and your nose and your eyes and things like that, and really focusing on that social distancing. And I love what she shared this morning, that really that doesn't mean that we're not connecting. And really, when we're talking about mental health awareness, we're really talking about being connected. That is so important. So I want to share a couple things today that I actually, as a counselor, it's my therapeutic orientation to focus on cognitive behavioral therapy. And one of the aids for that is through Albert Ellis. And one of the models that he teaches us is the ABC model. It's a really simple way. I think it's one of those things you can put in your back pocket to really help you with how you're feeling, what brought on those feelings, and what can you do to change that. Because sometimes it's about patterns, and we get kind of caught up in those patterns, and they become very almost subconscious. We just psychologically go there, not even realizing. So one of the methods that he taught us is the ABC model: the activating event, the belief, and the consequences. And really, when you're thinking about that, you kind of want to go backwards, because when you think about the consequences, that could be positive or negative. And sometimes when we're thinking about that, we're really thinking about, how do I feel? How did this situation make me feel? What's going on here? Why am I going down this negative road here? Well, if I start to go backwards a little bit, then I might be able to figure this out, where I can be intentional and turn that negative into a positive. What a great thing to do. So if I go then backwards from that consequence, I can go to the belief part. And really, I'd like to think about that as where you make a choice. And when somebody says make a better choice, you ever think about it? They're not giving you enough information. Where is the choice coming from? How do we be more deliberate about that? How do we be more intentional about that? Well, I want to throw a couple things in there that I think Mr. Ellis would have liked, okay? Because actually, your choices are coming from two different things. They're coming from your social influences and your psychological influences. Your social influences are about your family, your friends, social norms, and even the media. And that is huge. I'm losing a little bit here we go. So, and then when you're thinking about psychological influences, you're really thinking about your preferences, your traits, like personality traits, and your value system. And really, when you think about it, it becomes an automatic thought process. Have I thought about this lately? I just keep making these kinds of choices. So when you think about where it's coming from and what you can do about it, guess what? That's where awareness comes in. So when we're more aware of how we make those choices, guess what? That changes up the consequences to be a positive rather than a negative. Now, when we keep going backwards to the activating event, well, guess what? Sometimes we don't have much to do with that. I mean, hopefully the next 2 seconds, I'm still sitting here talking to you. I can't look in my crystal ball and say, I'll still be here, but chances are I will. But there's some things I can't really, I don't have control over. So that's where I have to kind of give up and focus on what I can control, let go of what I cannot. Guess what? That's a choice. So maybe in this activating event, we can think about COVID-19. So that's happening. So I go to my belief. What can I do about that? Well, we kind of just said, I'm going to focus on what I can control. I'm going to let go of what I cannot control. Now, when you're thinking about something like studying, and that's one of those subjects, it's like, we got to talk about that for a second. Because a lot of you students, you're doing something through an online format, which may be new to you. And I'll tell you something, when I was in grad school, I did a little bit of that. We kind of used us as guinea pigs. That's how old I am. And I thought it was kind of cool and innovative. And then a lot of my, colleagues or folks in my cohort didn't like it at all. But that's kind of where we are. And thank goodness for technology so we can stay connected. And that's a goal. See, we come right back to that. It's about relationship. It's about connections. And, that's the positive that we can focus on. So that can be the choice. Let me figure this out. This is going to allow me to keep in swing with my major and some of my goals and things that I want to do as a student. And guess what? The consequence can be a positive, that this is going to work out, that I'm being intentional about my grades and what my goals are at this time in my life when I'm going to complete this degree at Brenau University. Okay? Now, one other thing I want to check in with you and teach you, this is through Mental Health America. Now, it's actually a technique I have taught a lot of students, but I just wanted to give a reference as to where it just recently came from. I was on their platform last week, and I took some notes, and there's some great stuff. If you just want to look at Mental Health America, they've got great stuff out there for us. And I just kind of watered this down a little bit because I thought, I've got to let this be a connection we have with our students. So this is a grounding technique. So I want you first of all to think about breathing. Something hopefully we've been doing naturally, but when you think about it, it's really a mindfulness technique, to think about breathing in through your nostrils. And then, if you want to count that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in, and then breathing out really slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in. And when you're blowing out or breathing out, you might even think about like you're blowing up a balloon, that sort of thing. Do a couple of those and get yourself, because you know what that does? That clears the cobwebs. That's what that does. It clears up the cobwebs and it keeps you focused. So, as you're doing that, right there in your room, I want you to think about looking around your room, and I want you to name 5 things that are in your room with you right now. If I'm doing that, guess what? I have each of you through technology, through my phone. I've got my computer here that's giving me some great notes to share with you. I even have something you might enjoy, which is my little puppy. This is Lily. Say hey, everybody. See, I'm keeping Mom comfortable. Yeah, she's keeping me company. She's my little sidekick here. And I've got paper and I've got pencil. I might have went over 5. And you know what? None of this has to be perfect. If you want to come up with 10 things, that is great. Now, keep that breathing going. Just be intentional about that breathing. Now, we're going to name 4 things that we can actually feel. Well, I can feel Lily over here. She's wanting to go to sleep right now. She's getting her puppy nap in. I can feel this sweater that I have on. This is a good sweater day with the weather the way it is. I can feel my glasses, and I can feel my hair. What can you feel? Just name some things that you can feel right now. Keep that breathing going. Now, I want you to name 3 things that you can actually hear. I can hear some birds right outside my window here. I've got some spa music right back here with my Alexa. Can you hear that? And I can even hear the air that comes on and off in my home. Keep that breathing going. Breathe in. If you want to count that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in, and breathe out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in. Now, this is an interesting one. Name 2 things that you can smell. Well, you know something I can smell? I have a little something in the crock pot right behind me. I can smell that. And I have a diffuser going, and I can smell the lavender in my room. What can you smell? Keep that breathing going. Just keep that going. That clears those cobwebs, and it really makes you feel good. Now, think about jotting down something that is really good thing about yourself. Well, I'm feeling good that I can connect with you. I'm feeling super good about that. And I want you to feel a sense that all of Brenau, all of us are trying to connect. And what a great thing we have with technology that we can stay connected. You know something? If you want to draw some of these things that we just talked about, if you've got some way to do that with coloring pens, crayons, whatever you can come up with, be creative. There's lots of things I'd love to share with you, and these were just a couple today. And I want you guys to know I'm here. You can email me. You're going to get a reply back, and it's going to say, hey, give me your phone number, and I'm going to call you. I'm going to give you my cell phone number, and we're going to connect. If you want to do something through Zoom or whatever, we can try to make that happen for you. If you want to just talk by phone, whatever you feel comfortable doing. I don't want anyone to feel isolated. Isolation leads to anxiety, and anxiety leads to depression, and things go downhill from there. And you may be feeling some of that. And you know what? It could be situational. And we're all going through an adjustment right now. And I don't want anyone to feel like you're alone with this. Okay? Care about you. We want to be intentional about this. And I'm looking for the next time that we can reconnect. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.